Welcome to the Metaverse, your name here. Please take your shoes off and make yourself comfortable. In the Metaverse, all your needs will be tended to. You will work, play, live, eat, sleep, breathe, and poop, all from the confines of your virtual world. What is this Metaverse thing all about? If you have a VR headset, put one on now. If you don't, put on your pretend VR headset. You know, like the one your kindergarten teacher told you to wear. Today, we welcome Cathy Hackl, the godmother of the Metaverse, to share what the Metaverse is all about and how soon we will be entering into either a utopian paradise or dystopian hellscape. Let's get meta, but not that shitty Facebook brand, on today's episode number 619 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Welcome, Travis Wright, to your Metaverse.
Thank you. I mistakenly, unfortunately, got on the shitty Facebook version. What do I hit the X button?
You don't want to do that. Just delete your Facebook account, man. That's all you really need to do.
You can't do that if you got an Oculus.
I know.
You can't do that.
I know. It's so horrible. But welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast, the show for the crypto curious and the crypto serious. We are the blockchain buffoons. I just upgraded us from blockheads to buffoons.
Oh, is that an upgrade?
I think so.
We're the brilliant blockchain buffoons.
And it is time for some buffoonery and shenaniganery here on this episode of the show. We decided to skip over the July 4th holiday weekend, but we're back and we're badder than ever. And we want to welcome you along for the ride.
Yeah, and we've not actually talked about this in person, but today we're recording this on the 5th. I guess we're releasing it on the 6th or the 7th. Yeah,
the 6th.
And then so we know that the 5-year anniversary of Bad Crypto is coming up shortly. And so have we decided how we want to do that? I take it we're not going to have an actual in-person deal. Maybe we should have a virtual deal, maybe a Twitter space and maybe a VR after party or something.
I think that would be fun. Let's talk about that offline. We'll schedule something, and you guys want to make sure and follow at Bad Crypto Pod on the Twitters so you can get notified there. If you're not really as cool as you think you are. So do that.
Just get yourself a crypto Twitter handle. You don't got to use Twitter for all of the stuff, but doing crypto and Web3 stuff on the Twitters is probably a good idea. Make some pretty good connections. So we'll maybe do a Twitter space. And then I've been playing, as we talked about here in this interview, playing on spatial.io. And you can do that on your Oculus. You can do it on your iPad or your iPhone or your Android, or you can do it on desktop. So you can have 50 people in a room. So I'm thinking maybe we have 50 people RSVP or something to come into the after party or something.
That'd be fantastic. I would love to do that. So watch for information on that. And we got a great interview for you guys today. In fact, we've been trying to get Cathy Hackl to come on the show for some time, and we've had just different reasons that it didn't work out. We finally got her. In fact, she's still trapped in a cage down over there.
She's not. She's in the metaverse, but our own private centralized one that she can't escape from.
So let's get all metaversal with it. Here's our interview with Cathy. What is this thing called the metaverse? Are we calling it by its right name? Are the dystopian visions that we have of it from science fiction, film, and TV accurate? Or is it actually going to be hopeful for us? I don't know. Travis, do you know? He doesn't know. He just knows he's muted. And he can't say.
I was muted and I was trying to get to that. When you have too many monitors, I was like, wait, how do I get? Nope. Got to lift it up, move over, then go down, and then go over, and then okay, there it is. And
you're too busy. You're busy in you're metaversing over there.
I was actually trying to find the show notes, and then I didn't see any show notes, and then I see the show notes, and so now I'm all show notified.
Well, you know what? You don't need to know a lot because our guest today knows it all. She is a top tech voice on LinkedIn. She is the author of the best-selling book, Navigating the Metaverse, A Guide to Limitless Possibilities in a Web3 World, along with our good friend, Doug Lewis from Upland. Doug is also as a book, and she's also a friend of ours. We've known her for a number of years and watch her rise to fame. As I think we might have to heretofore dub her the queen of the metaverse, the one and only Cathy Hackl. Cathy, welcome to Bad Crypto.
I am so excited to be here. I've been wanting to be on the show for a while, and I'm just so pumped.
What do you think of the title, Queen of the Metaverse?
So actually, Paris Hilton already took that one.
Nah, she can't now. She's why would she? Okay, give me the case. You're Paris Hilton. Tell me why you should be queen of the metaverse.
You need to ask her, but I know she's investing in a lot of startups, and she's got Paris World and Roblox, and more power to her. More power to her. People call me the godmother of the metaverse. So hey, well, I've been in the metaverse related industries for over 8 years. Like, I actually met y'all before I went into tech. Like, I met you guys when I was in live streaming, like back in the day.
Yep.
And then eventually went into VR and AR, and everyone was like, "You are crazy. What are you doing?" I remember people reaching out like, "What?
It's been one heck of a ride watching you evolve from remember where you were. You're like, you positioned yourself. You've woven the Web3 quite nicely.
Yeah. I rode the wave. I always say I recognized the rocket when I saw one. And I was like, I'm getting on this rocket. I don't know where it's going to take me, but I know I'm going up. So yeah, I've been in metaverse related industries over 8 years, worked with HTC Vive. I was their VR evangelist during a partnership with Spielberg's Ready Player One, the adaptation of Ernie Klein's book. Went over to Magic Leap as well, which some folks here might know or not, but they make spatial computing glasses, augmented reality glasses. The chief futurist when I was there was actually Neil Stephenson, who coined the term metaverse in one of his sci-fi novels. Then actually ended up at Amazon Web Services and worked on many things, including large-scale gaming simulations, and then launched off on my own. And my company got acquired in 10 months, which is crazy.
Wow.
My metaverse consultancy. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I sold it for 7 figures. I feel really good about that.
You should.
So,
as you should.
Yeah. So
wait, but nobody owns you. I mean, you're an independent.
Well, now since Journey, the company that bought my company, I'm now part of Journey. I'm their Chief Metaverse Officer. But no one owns me. I am my own.
You're the CMV. CMO.
Yeah, I am the CMD.
No, it's a CMO. CMVO, because CMO is taken.
Some people say CMETAO, some people see CMO, CMVO. Like, I've heard all sorts of acronyms for it. Chief Metaverse Officer. So, and I gave myself that title, by the way. So,
okay, we'll go with that title.
Yeah. I'm cool with that, Chief Metaverse Officer. So, watching this whole space evolve, and I'm gonna let Joel have his metaverse rant here in a second. His next question will be about the metaverse rant that he has. But I'm curious, like, where are we in the Web3 metaverse world? Like, how far along are we, and how long until we get to mass adoption? Because it seems like it's still a little early.
It's very nascent, not the idea and the concept of the metaverse have been around for a long time. It's more like the building blocks of creating the actual metaverse are still far away in my perspective, right? I see like some of the gaming platforms as metaverse platforms, lowercase m, or proto metaverses, lowercase m, right? So like when someone says like Roblox is the metaverse or like Fortnite is the metaverse, I don't agree with that. I think the metaverse, the greater metaverse, that metaverse capital M is not here yet. We're building towards it. We're right now, like what the next 10 years are all about are building the rails, building the devices, getting to where we need to do with computing power, edge computing, starting to build content, test content, what works, what doesn't work, right? So that's my perspective. Some people believe it's already here. To me, no. To me, we're building this in the next 10 years, huge moment for builders in whichever part you're going to play, right? Another important part, it's not one technology, it's many different technologies. So it's enabled by many different technologies. not just VR, because some people tend to be like really hyper focused on like Ready Player One. I'm like, no, that's a pretty dystopic view of the future. So yeah, it's not VR. Specifically, VR is one of the enabling technologies, but you've got AR, you've got, blockchain and NFTs are another part of it. AI, edge computing, like I mentioned, 5G, 6G, whatever comes next, like some of the more boring ones, right? But yeah, there's a lot of different technologies that enable it, and it's definitely not one single company. So yeah, that's kind of like what I believe, what I envision and see from the metaverse. And and this is really interesting because about 2 years ago, I wrote an article in Forbes, an essay called "The Metaverse is Coming. It's a Very Big Deal." This is before everyone was talking about the metaverse, right? And I still have clients and friends that reach out and say, "Hey, that was such a monumental piece for me." It might have been the first time they came across this idea and this concept, and and kind of see where we're now. Like, we're building towards it. It's people are talking about it. Yes, there's hype. It's very hypey. I completely agree. But that idea, that concept that there is a successor state to today's mobile internet and we're building it right now, for me, definitely remains the truth. So,
but the hype, cycle, it has to happen. And if you look at, the internet and the mid-late 90s, there was the hype about it. And then we had the .com crash, and then the internet came back stronger than ever. And now Jeff Bezos owns all of us, right? And Mark Zuckerberg owns us. I like what you said about metaverse with the small m, and you went right to the heart of my rant, the fact that we're using the term metaverse incorrectly. Because I think a metaverse indicates that this is the unifying verse that has interoperability between. We should be calling these virtual worlds or verses, but we're not. And so even a project I'm working on now, they're building a metaverse, and I've got to go along with it because this is part of the deal. But I've had the Oculus since they came out with it, March 2016, I want to say.
I remember that. I remember when you had it.
Yeah, and it was the Rift that connected to the PC, and I use my Oculus Quest almost every day playing Beat Saber, which is probably not good for my shoulders and all that, but I love it so much. Anyway, I was going to ask,
it's probably great for your shoulders. Actually, it's probably good. You're moving around.
My arms get there. I mean, because I'm playing on Expert Plus now. It's like,
oh yeah.
I found something that might help you. I found this thing on Amazon. It's this arm shoulder pillows for like when you're snoozing. Oh my gosh, it is so perfect. You put it right there, and your arm just. Because I normally will scrunch down and crunch while I'm sleeping, but this right here keeps my arm back. So it's like, I woke up feeling like I was Sleeping Beauty. Like,
The Bad Crypto Podcast brought to you by My Pillow. Use coupon code.
Not at all. They don't make those amazing pillows.
So you were playing with VR and AR headsets before. I mean, I think you even had a Google Glass, right?
I didn't. I never owned one. But I did wear one, and yeah, it was just too early, right? It was too early.
Remind people like, wait, Google Glass, what is that?
Google Glass.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there was these weird looking glasses that had cameras that would be recording things. Robert Scoble, who, now there's a lot of, negative things that happened, but he was kind of like the guy that wore it in the shower, and someone got a picture taken. And but it was, when it came out, I think the marketing was wrong. It was too early. Like, if you look at all the marketing, it was just kind of like, where are you marketing this to?
It was 2013. I just looked it up on Wikipedia, April 2013, and they sold them for $1,500. They went public with them in May of 2014, and then January 2015, they stopped producing them. And I had ordered one right at the beginning of January, and I heard they were going to stop producing. I'm like, nope, don't send it. Refund.
Yeah. That. But they did revamp it. They launched a version 2, which is all enterprise. Like, I know they've got some use cases, like the Changi Airport in Singapore uses them for like logistics and stuff. So they did make a comeback in some ways with better hardware, but more for the enterprise. But it's not a product that you see everyone using. There is a guy I know that still wears his, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So
that is amazing for corporate use, though. Imagine, like, if you're working at Amazon warehouse or something, you're like, I'm picking this item up, boop, and then you sit it down, boop. Like, it's like, there is some use cases for that. And I think more so as we, move down the line, right? Like more of those use cases of AR. I'm mostly excited about AR. Like AR
Me
is going to be
too.
really awesome.
Me too. I think definitely like Magic Leap and Microsoft HoloLens, which are more advanced, spatial computing and AR glasses. I think that that's very powerful. To me, to be honest, Travis, like what excites me about the metaverse is, yeah, I love the virtual side of it, but the physical world is part of the metaverse. It just hasn't been enabled, right? And when that part of the equation gets enabled, when we fully merge virtual with physical, that is the holy grail. Like that is going to change. So like that's going to change how we engage with technology in a level that we've never seen before. Like the phone changed everything, right? That next level that we're heading into is going to make that big change again from a societal perspective, right?
Like VR is the next, like we got into VR in this beta testing phase first, right? We're playing with our quests and all that, but it seems to me that AR is going to make the bigger move first and then VR, as demonstrated by how many millions of people played Pokemon Go when that thing came out.
Or the amount of people that are on Snapchat, right? Or the amount of people that are now on TikTok, which is embracing AR. Like these are things that people are already doing, right? If you ask any Gen Z that's buying, or like young millennial or Gen Z that's buying makeup, virtual try-on is not a nice to have, it's a must-have. Like how can I not try this color on, right? Like this lipstick, right? So I think that there's this kind of moment right now. It's mostly on our mobile phones, but eventually it moves up to glasses. And whenever it does move up there, then that changes the equation and changes everything. So I do think, there's this moment, I think of some of us that have been in the space for a long time, think of the term extended reality or XR. And that is the idea that, eventually, who knows if this happens, right? You might have a device that can do both VR, so fully immersive, and can do AR, right? That remains to be seen, etc. But yeah, eventually that's the concept and the idea that some people want to have, is that something that can do both. We'll see, I enjoy my time in VR, but Joel, like I can be in there 45 minutes and then I got to take the headset off. Like at least for a little bit, I need to take a break and then I can go back in. But there's only so much time I can be in that. Whereas I feel that with glasses, potentially with AR glasses, depending on the technology, I might be able to wear them longer. So we'll have to see. So it's definitely an exciting time. It's an exciting time. I will say this. I think people underestimate how hard it is to put a supercomputer on someone's face. That part is really tough and really hard to do, both from the battery, the optics, the weight, the ergonomics, everything that have to do with putting that putting
glasses in your face.
In your face.
Yeah.
Plus it's got to be sexy, and we're not there yet. So
that poses an interesting question, because I've always thought of this. It's like, you don't have to put the battery in the glasses, but you can have like a little, I'm cool with clipping something on my belt or something and maybe plugging it in and then having a little bit of light and then plugging it back into the external battery. That wouldn't be a problem. Well, I've done some research on, I've seen a couple of things that are really interesting to me that's kind of triggering some things. One is Apple. Like I'm reading that, I've read that they're going to launch in 2022. Then I read that they're going to launch in 2024. And I've also been reading about these AR contact lenses.
Yeah. Mojo Vision.
So what's going on with that? And when can we actually when do you think we're going to see some of these popping out for real?
Yeah. I mean, the only the people that work within Apple that have knowledge of that can tell you. Like anyone else is just speculating, right? Because no one knows. It's like, oh, they're going to launch in 2022, 2023. That being said, Tim Cook is being a little bit more open about that. And he'll be like, yes, we believe in augmented reality. And it's a big part of what we're doing. So he's starting to be a little bit more open. I think, probably in a year, maybe a year and a half, we'll hear a little bit more. And he'll be like, and one more thing, right? So we'll see. I think we're all excited about that. That'll be a pivotal moment, I think, for everyone in the industry, but it'll be really early. It's like, not everyone ran out and got an iPhone when it first came out. A lot of people did, but not everyone, right? So same thing. I think
probably more like an iWatch, where not everyone out and got an iWatch, but they're like, all right, an iWatch is like, I didn't get the Gen 1 iWatch. I think I got an i4, a Generation 4 iWatch, and then I finally just got upgraded and got a new one. But I think that's probably what will happen with those Apple glasses. But I think that's going to change the game. Like if they drop those, my only concern is like, how much data are they going to be able to pull from that? Because they're going to see everything I'm reading, everything I'm looking at, every place I go. Like, that kind of bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of those devices have cameras both looking outward but looking at you as well. So your eyes, your Oculus already measures like they already, scan your hands. So they do hand tracking. It scans your eyes. It scans, I think it's within 20 seconds of wearing an Oculus Quest, they have enough information, biometric data to personally identify you. So, that there is that scary part of the future. There is that scary part of the future when it comes to biometrics and data. So,
and I think it's a legitimate fear. So I heard somebody talking about contact lenses, but I didn't realize they were actually in development. Mojo Vision.
Yeah, their CEO just used them. So
it says Mojo Lenses revolutionary design uses a tiny micro LED display the size of a grain of sand to share critical information, and smart sensors powered by solid state batteries built into a scleral lens that also corrects your vision by overlaying digital information onto our world. Mojo Lens empowers each of us to be our best self in any situation. Good marketing speak. But basically, this means the future of AR and VR is not a headset, and it's not necessarily glasses, but these contact lenses seem to be the avenue. And I could see them being blackout lenses that then turn into VR.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're further out from contact lenses just because there's a lot more to solve there. The CEO of Mojo Vision.
And they look weird. Like they got basically it makes it look like you have no soul. They look at you, they're all black, and it's like, look at me with my no soul. It's soulless Travis.
Soulless Travis. Some people do that now. They wear these contact lenses that are like snake eyes and stuff. There's creepy looking things that people do to their eyes. So
there are contact lenses. There's transition contact lenses where just like your glasses, if you're wearing transition glasses, like it'll turn dark. Like there's transition contact lenses. Just a lot of people don't use them because it's weird, right? But yeah, they do exist. But I would say, is the future contact lenses? Maybe. I just don't know we're there yet. With those types of wearables. Same thing with brain computer interfaces that connect our brain to our computers. Like, are we ready for implants? I don't think everyone's ready for that. I've used the external devices and they're quite interesting, but am I ready to put something in my brain, a chip? No, I'm not ready to do anything like that. An external device? Yeah, I'm more open to wearing an external device if it makes my life easier. So I don't know. I think we're going to move away from the mobile phone into glasses. What comes next? Potentially contact lenses. There'll be some level of brain computer interface. Who knows? That being said, every time I see a new phone announcement, it's like, how many more cameras can we add to the phone? Like, what else can we do to this thing to make it better? And I think that's where we're getting to that point where innovation has to lead us in a different route because there's only so much more I can add to the phone. So, yeah.
I just discovered that on my iPhone that this little camera right there is LiDAR. I didn't even realize it was LiDAR, and you can literally take a volumetric scan of your room. And then you could, I hadn't figured out how to turn that into the metaverse, into a metaverse asset or an environment in that. But it's definitely, it actually was kind of janky. It looked really weird. Like it was all like it's not really smooth as it could be. So it's not great LiDAR, but it was interesting. So my next question is around these virtual worlds, because I'm not going to call them a metaverse because Joel scolds me. What are the most fun ones now that you think that, and then maybe which ones are the most realistic looking, and what kind of power do you have to get into those? Like, you got to have a super powerful PC, or do you got to have the different VR headsets? Like, what's the accessibility?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. Like, when it comes to virtual worlds, in my mind, I divide them in two: centralized and decentralized. Right. Okay. The decentralized is a lot of our friends like Upland and the Sandbox and, Decentraland and all of those where you actually have, there's an NFT component. You actually you can own and trade the land. You can own the assets, all those sorts of things. Right. And, as we know from Decentraland and the Sandbox, you don't necessarily need a gaming PC with a crazy graphics card to run them. Right. They can run in a regular, and Upland runs on a mobile phone as well. So, graphics wise, I'm not really going to go that way. What I do think from the centralized perspective, from a high fidelity standpoint, anything built with the Unreal Engine is going to be really high fidelity. That being said, Unity's catching up, but like Fortnite has great graphics. So if any game created with Unreal Engine is going to have great graphics as well. So like Core is like an Unreal Engine created game, looks very similar to Fortnite, but is actually veering into Web3. They kind of announced an integration with Web3 beyond just displaying your NFTs. They've gone a little bit further. So keep your eye on them. They're a smaller platform, right? But fidelity wise,
what is it called again?
Core. CORE. They're owned by
Okay.
Manticore Games, and they
Okay.
just announced an integration with Web3, and we actually use them. So when we did the first bell ringing, so myself and Journey, my company, did the first bell ringing both in the physical world at NASDAQ market site and in the metaverse. Let's call it the metaverse, but it was a virtual space in Core. We did it live, so I rang the bell physically at NASDAQ to open the markets, and then my avatar, which was being used by a friend of mine, pressed the bell also in this virtual world, and we kind of did it all at the same time. Went live on television. It was crazy that we actually pulled it off. But yeah, those the graphics were higher fidelity. That being said, once again, this is another caveat. If you are a brand and you want to activate, you want to go, you want to go where the players are, right? Where are the players, right? Depending on who your brand is and what they want to attract. A lot of brands we're working with are building in Roblox, right? Some are building in Fortnite Creative. Some want to do something in Decentraland or the Sandbox. It really depends on where your audience is, right? But if you're a big brand like the brands I work with, a lot of them are looking at Roblox or Fortnite Creative or some of these other platforms, right, to activate.
So these so-called metaverses that are not on blockchain, Roblox, Minecraft, do you see them being able to make the pivot? Do they want to make the pivot where people have ownership of their stuff?
I don't know. I don't know if they want to make the pivot. I think they might have to eventually make some type of integration or test some type of integration right into, I think with Epic, you already start to see some NFT games on the Epic store. So I don't know. I think it'll be a transition. Right now, I think it's going to take some time. I think what Core did, moving away from being just centralized into being a little bit more decentralized, is going to be something that people are going to be looking at and how everything works out for them. So that'll be interesting. I think that eventually they will be testing some of these things, right? Or the other option is, for example, Microsoft, right? Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard, Xbox, Minecraft. They might try some type of interoperability or decentralization within. It's not even, you can't even call it decentralization, but some type of interoperability within their game, within their universe of games, right? They could try that, but it might still be a centralized space.
Well,
right?
Microsoft is making those moves. They bought AltSpace VR, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that's a recent acquisition and great meeting place. So if they do with that what they've done with Minecraft, that's going to be huge.
I'm curious about this. So I just, the other day I was in a Twitter space and somebody goes, "Oh, come check out my area in spatial.io." So we literally went inside an NFT that was a penthouse. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. This is an NFT. And so then I went, and it was an Exclusable, was the name of the company. And
I love them.
I bought a Dubai penthouse, a Paris penthouse. And you can actually, it was fun about it is that I can do it in my VR on my Oculus Quest. I can do it on the iPad. I can do it on my iPhone, or I can do it on the browser. And so I was like, wow, this is a good way to get people into these virtual worlds, not just with a headset on. You can just play. And I was thinking, man, we could have VIP parties or something up here in a penthouse and just let people in, and it could be kind of fun. So I was just like, all right, because that to me was new. I'd never been inside of an NFT to my knowledge. I was like, wait a second, this is cool. So are there other platforms as Core? Is that like that, where you can have these environments that are actually NFT environments? I don't know what you would call them.
Yeah.
Kind of like
that.
I
mean, first of all, big shout out to the team at Exclusable. I love the work they've been doing. And I love that they partner with Spatial to take this to the next level, right? So and Spatial has been around for a while.
It's an up and coming metaverse, right? Spatial.
Yeah. I own a few things, like I bought some of their initial lands. But land, I mean, kind of, I don't know what they call them. The isoblock, I can't remember what I call. They have a specific name. But yeah, I think that they're doing a really good job. I think the point there, Travis, is that it's a lot about world building, right? And I have a saying that a lot of people hear me say, it's like, in the metaverse, we're all world builders, and now is your time to build. And whether it's building community or building, an NFT or building worlds, like, it's our time to build. Right now is the time to start creating these things. Yeah. And I think that that's where, the partnership between Exclusive and Spatial made a lot of sense. They were both growing. They were both kind of heading in this in these directions, and the partnership makes sense. So, yeah, I think cyber. Is it cyber? What's it called? I cannot remember. But like for example, I'm a Clonex holder. I think you are too, right, Joel? And we get the what's it called? Cyber Dream, cyberspace.
Oh, is there something coming that I'm not aware of?
No, we all got it. We all got it. We all got
the space
pods. The space pods. We all got
yeah.
space pods.
Yeah.
We got space pods that we can decorate, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, I cannot remember the name right now, cyber something.io. But that's, that's an NFT that you can build into as well. So it's an NFT tied to your NFT. But yeah, I mean, when you buy land, as you know, in Decentraland, you can build on it. You're building on your land, which is an NFT. The house isn't necessarily an NFT, but
do you feel like these that are, so the earliest ones are, there's 4 of them, Decentraland, Sandbox, the Somnium Space, and Crypto Voxels, right? Those are the earliest ones. Do you think that first mover advantage for those is going to give them longevity, or do you think that some of them might fail?
Well, I own land in 3 of those. So I'm hoping that 3 of those survive. Not that I have anything against the 4th one, but yeah, I think, Sandbox, for example, I think has had some amazing partnerships. I think they're well positioned. I mean, I think Decentraland from a community perspective is really interesting. They're doing some great events. I was the chairwoman for Metaverse Fashion Week, which is held in Decentraland. So yeah, I don't know, like, will they all survive? I don't know. I'm very excited about Star Atlas, right? That, once again, Unreal Engine. That's beautiful. It's going to look beautiful.
We both, full disclosure, Travis and I both got to be early investors in Star Atlas, and we are, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like super quiet right now.
Yeah.
And once it hits and people understand what it is they're building, why do you, besides the fact that the graphics are pretty, why do you like it?
I love the team. I think they have a solid team. I think that they've been quiet for a reason. And I think it's because they're building, right? They're building. They're not necessarily doing all the marketing stuff right now because they're building. And the stuff I've seen, I'm just really impressed. Like, it takes a lot to impress me. And I'm actually really impressed with them and with their ideas and concepts and how they're putting it all together. So that's one that I would definitely keep my eye out for.
I love that. I want to ask about this. So, I know a lot of people who are listening to this show maybe have kids that are building in Minecraft, or they're playing in Roblox, or they're doing stuff in Fortnite, right? My question is around file formats. Like, if I want to create something for a metaverse, and I actually downloaded Unreal Engine 5 and I'm playing around with it. So because I'm a graphic guy myself, I like to explore and kind of play around. So I'm going to see what I can do. But what do you need to export it as? Like, if I want to put something in spatial, or if I want to put something in core, one of these other ones, like, what do I need to do to export it and then upload it? And here it is. Now it's inside this metaverse.
I would love to find a solution that can do that for every single type of asset, but I haven't come across a solution that will do it for everything, right? Because at the end of the day, what you're trying to solve there is interoperability of how you take the asset that you created, import it into the Sandbox for it to look this way, import it in Roblox for it to look this way, import it into, Decentraland, and then.
So if I just export something in Unreal Engine, it's only able to be imported into this one or this one, but I got to modify it. I don't even know.
Yeah, no. I mean, right now you can't. That's a big problem of interoperability. It does not currently exist. Right. There are, Ready Player Me, I think they do a great job with the avatars and being able to port them into a whole bunch of different places. But, it's still not easy. Let's say I build a house in spatial and I build it once, and then can I take that asset and port it into the Sandbox and put it into Decentraland? That currently does not exist. And if it does, please reach out and let me know. But that I think and then you're also talking about moving things between centralized and decentralized platforms. What is the incentive for a centralized platform to allow you to bring that in? So big question, definitely.
Yeah.
Big business opportunity.
No incentive. And definitely. And I think, this concept of the metaverse happens when we have interoperability between these, that I can go from Decentraland and move my avatar with my possessions into Sandbox. It might look different, right? Your character kind of changes because of the graphic limitations. I know that Unreal 5 is going to do some amazing things. We're looking at Victoria VR as one of those, which just looks, again, they're building quietly.
Yeah.
And I think I know the answer to this question, but maybe you can support or disagree. A lot of people are like, well, the best graphics are going to win. But then I look at, Sandbox and Decentraland, and I think, well, look at Minecraft and Roblox in an age of amazing graphics.
I think it's every player is going to want something different. Like we can't make that blanket statement that everyone wants super high fidelity, right? I think that, if I am, that being said, if I am a luxury brand and I want to, port my, my Birkin bag, I might want to look for the most high fidelity because that's just my ethos as a brand, right? But it doesn't mean that everything has to look a certain way or everything has to be done in Unreal. So yeah, I mean, to each his own. I think there's going to be lots of different flavors, and some will be more voxels, more voxels, more, it'll really depend. Yeah, I don't know. Like my children, my children play Minecraft and Roblox. Those are their games. And, it's not like, oh my gosh, I want to move on to Fortnite because the graphics are better. Like that's not a conversation we have.
Yeah.
So,
how do we inspire them to want to be builders in the metaverse? Because that to me, I think is the disconnect, because here they are, they're putting all their time in Roblox and Minecraft or Fortnite. They're playing all this stuff. They're doing all these things, building all these things in a centralized world. So how are we, and a lot of them are developing really keen building skills.
Oh yeah.
How do we bridge that? Right. Because I'm trying to put a fire in my daughter's ass because she's great at building stuff in Minecraft. But I was like, if you could learn how to do this in Unity or learn how to do this in Unreal Engine or something, then or Sandbox, and you could sell these assets, and and she's like, meh.
Well, this is what I'll tell you from my experience with my son. He's actually at STEM computer science camp right now because he loves all that stuff. He became a Roblox developer last year. So like he went to course and got a little certification, and he develops in Roblox right now. And he actually makes money. Like he makes, doesn't a lot, not a lot, but he makes money because people play his experience. And what I've been trying to do is kind of spend a little time between world building, between, let's say, gameplay, like when they're actually in their gaming, and world building, right? So they're playing, they can also be building. So we got to split that time because the building skills, I think, is what's really important, right? So I think that's something. Something that happened recently was the passing of a Minecraft gamer, Technoblade, right? And I remember my son coming to my office. He knocked on my door and said, "Mommy, can I talk to you? I just heard that Technoblade, 23-year-old gamer, very known in Minecraft, had passed away from cancer." So we had a big conversation, and he felt really sad. He was sad. And he walked away, and then he said, "I have an idea." So he walked away, and then he came back, knocked on the door again. And I opened the door, and he said, "I want to show you something." So I walked over to his desk. He had gone into Roblox, into one of his experiences, and created a memorial, right? So that's a moment for me where I said, wow, the skills that I gave him are not only helping him, make a little money here and there, but are helping him cope and manage his emotions in a very positive way, right? So that was for me. And I posted on LinkedIn, got tons of feedback. And, for me, it was a really important moment because, he can also, he plays sports, and he's also using physical activity to manage emotions, but he was able to use those building skills to manage how he felt at that moment. And that to me was really powerful. And like, what can this technology do beyond making money, right? It can actually help them express themselves in a safe way, in a way that can allow them to, to use technology in a different way.
Well, technology is amoral. It's neither good nor bad. It's what we do with it. And this is why, we were so drawn to social media in the beginning. And of course, look what happens. People eventually turn something that's meant to connect and for good and to give people a place and a voice, and big tech comes in. And this is, I think, the fear about the metaverse. So you've got to have some that trepidation as well. As we get ready to finish out here today, maybe give us your vision for what should the metaverse look like, and what are your biggest fears?
Yeah, I'll tell you what keeps me up at night is definitely the biometric data and privacy, those sorts of things. I think we need to have really open conversations, really uncomfortable conversations from the get-go, because there will be challenges we don't even know are going to exist that are going to pop up and happen, right? I'm team. Let's have those uncomfortable conversations now, right? I believe that I personally want to build towards an open, decentralized metaverse, or mostly open and decentralized. That would be, I think, the goal. And then, from a, I'm neither utopic nor dystopic about that. I'm what's called protopian. I'm in the middle. I do think that if we build it differently, and if it is decentralized, and if we have more people making decisions, more companies at the forefront, and if, and I personally, as a woman and a Latina, if more people like me can help build this future and have a seat at the table, that affects positive change. Right. So for me, that's important. Right. And I've said this, I said that at NASDAQ, I said, I'm not the typical face that you think of when you think of technology. Right. But that's what's important for everyone to know. This future is being built and everyone's welcome to build it. Right. So, and that's why I said right now is the time to build. Right. You can build things without necessarily being, a tech giant. So yeah, I think there is hope. I think personally, I have a lot of hope about the future. Is it all going to be perfect? No, I don't think so. I think there's going to be bad things that happen, but I do want to build towards a better future for my children that hopefully won't harvest their data. So
keep your hands off my data, Travis Wright. Don't be touching it.
I'm trying to keep my hands off your data. It seems like, though, that it's going to be captured more and more so over time. So I guess I love what you just said. That was kind of a nice little wrapped it all up there at the end there. Any final words that you maybe like to bestow upon the listeners of Bad Cryptopia about the metaverse, how to get rolling, what to do, how to think about this? Like, how should we be thinking about this, I guess, as we wrap up?
Yeah, get away from the hype. Get away from the hype and just think this about the next, the successor state to today's mobile internet. What would you want to see done differently? Now is your time to really affect change, right? It's just this moment of creativity. I don't know how to explain it. Just a moment where there's hope in me that we can make a better future. Not a perfect one. Don't read too much into that. Not a perfect one, but at least a better one.
She just went all public enemy on us, Travis. Don't believe the hype. She's like, don't believe the hype.
I've just been believing it, though. Now I don't. Now I've been learned.
Just observe Cathy Hackl at cathyhackl.com. I'd like to buy a vowel, please. It's spelled HACKL. Either an E before the L.
I'm vowelly challenged.
L. Like let's just throw an E in there somewhere. The godmother of the metaverse. There are tons of links in the show notes, guys, for many of the things we discussed today. So make sure you check it out. And Cathy, thanks for coming on and tolerating us.
All right, I'll see you guys in the metaverse.
Oh man, I sprained my metaversal.
Oh, is it your metaversal arch?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that what that is?
Metatarsal? What is that? Is like a real thing? It's like
I don't know.
What is a metatarsal?
If you sprain your metaversal, it means you get bent out of shape in the metaverse.
Oh no, you got to walk around with like your like what happens when your controller's out of place and your arm is like. Rrr.
Yeah, for those of you who have never checked out Crypto Voxels, I didn't say this during the interview. I did say that it was one of the 4 early ones. I have a feeling that's the one that she doesn't have land in. I mentioned Sandbox, Decentraland, Somnium Space, and Crypto Voxels, and she says she has 3 out of the 4. So I'm guessing Crypto Voxels is the one, and it's the only one that we've actually built a space in. If you go to badco.in/voxels, it'll put you right there at the entrance or inside our Republic of Bad Cryptopia in Crypto Voxels, and you could belly up to the bar. You'll see that Travis and I are the doormen, we're the bouncers. And you can play some music and audio clips there at the bar. Just push the play button once you're in there. And it's just kind of fun to see this little thing we built. I'll put a link to it in the show notes too.
Yeah, matter of fact, on last Thursday, I was on the Twitters and I saw Ken Bosak talking about this comedy verse. So somebody had created a comedy store inside the metaverse. Something I was thinking about, like how cool would it be to have a really good comedy room, and you can have the mic. And so they actually did it in Crypto Voxels. And I didn't get to go up on stage because they already had their people already set up, but maybe in the future be able to go up. But it's kind of weird because you can't hear anybody laugh, right? So I was thinking how cool it would be. Would almost is like assign yourself a laugh. Like, this is my laugh. And then like when somebody says a funny joke, like everybody pushes their laugh button. So it's its own unique laugh.
I want to be the guy who has that custom laugh that's like,
yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that laugh. If you're a comedian, you don't want to hear some annoying laughter.
I know. That's why I want to be that guy. It's like heckling legally.
Oh man, you're that guy.
I love the idea of comedy verse, though, and virtual events of all kind. They're coming, and we are going to put one on. Travis and I will figure out what that's going to look like in spaces, and maybe we'll use Alt Space VR because that's the one that's most accessible to people on
Actually,
on
no, I think the one that's probably most is spatial.io, because you can do it on desktop, you can do it on mobile, Android, iOS, iPad, or Oculus.
I launched it in the Oculus and it was buggy.
Was it?
Yeah. I just think
Space is another one that says we got to figure out where, because that's where it's cool. Is like I got some badass penthouses that are actually NFTs.
We don't care about your magazines.
Those are different. What?
Your penthouses?
Okay.
You said you had penthouses. I don't.
Well, I have those. I don't have any of those analog penthouse magazines, but I have 5. I have one penthouse in Dubai, one in Paris, one in Miami, one in Las Vegas, and one somewhere else. I don't even know where it is, but they're NFTs that I got from Exclusible, and they're really cool.
I did buy one of those penthouses per your direction, non-financial advisor, Travis.
You put up your NFTs on the wall, and I play videos on the wall. So it's actually pretty cool. Let's see. How about you and I this week do a play session, and then we'll figure out where we want to do it.
Okay. AltSpace got purchased by Microsoft.
Okay.
That's so they
isn't that available on Oculus too? The AltSpace.
Oh yeah,
thing?
yeah. It's the oldest VR community app, and it runs pretty good. Anyhow, thank you everybody for joining us today. Again, follow us at Bad Crypto Pod on Twitter, at Bad Crypto Podcast on Instagram. Make sure that you are subscribed, because it really does make you more appealing to others. Like, they just somehow people know you're breathtaking. You take my breath away. You must listen to the Bad Crypto Podcast. And then you're like, why, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for listening. Make sure you are subscribed, follow, like, share, and don't forget to eat some corn and do something else.
Yeah, you can do it. You know what? Is it's okay to fart in the metaverse because no one can smell it. Right?
Not yet, anyway.
That's the next metaverse.
That technology will happen next. All right, gang, stay bad.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor. I'm not sure if you knew this story, but after iFart was a huge hit, we put out a press release on April Fool's Day that said, due to the new iScent technology in Apple's iPhone, that the latest update of iFart, you could actually smell the farts. And we actually had 2 people write us to open support tickets telling us it didn't work.
Nice. And your reply was, dumbass. April Fool's dumbass.